I'm Adam and this is Reel Rivalries, the show where we pit two movies head to head and let you decide the winner. The name's Bond, James Bond, and he's been entertaining us on the big screen since the 60s. 7 acting legends have played the character over the years, 8 if you count the Barry Nelson TV episode. Today we're looking at two fresh beginnings for our 007 agents as GoldenEye goes up against Casino Royale. I'll be covering the characters, the stories, the world building, and the assembly of each picture. Let's start with the agents. In 1995, GoldenEye was released, and it introduced audiences to the newest James Bond, Pierce Brosnan. He had all the fixings of a good agent: the charming accent, the strikingly good looks, the playboy attitude, and of course a license to kill. Daniel Craig was a pretty far departure in 2006's Casino Royale. The blonde hair, blue-eyed agent was a first for the franchise. He was reckless and a bit more prone to mistakes. He was still a killer in the streets and a thriller in the sheets. His poker game was on point too. James Bond answers to the head of MI6, simply known as M. In both these series, M is played by Judi Dench, a no-nonsense figure that is mildly more spit-in with Brosnan than that of our unpredictable Craig, at least in their first respective films. GoldenEye has a great cast, which includes the less than invincible Alan Cumming, Samantha Bond as Moneypenny, Isabella Scorupco as Natalia, and a nice cameo by Minnie Driver, who can be heard strangling a cat live on stage. The showstopper here is the beautiful Famke Janssen as Xenia Onatopp. She's the quintessential poster child for the Thigh Master, as she takes men's breath away, quite literally with her legs. You Only Live Twice isn't just a Bond film, it's a way of life for Alec Trevelyan, who fakes his death early in the picture. That seems par for the course for actor Sean Bean, who typically dies before the credits roll on a film. In this case, he gets to die twice. Desmond Llewellyn continues his role as Q, the head of research and development, in one of the funnier scenes in the film. There's not a whole lot of joking around when it comes to Casino Royale. Even Judi Dench isn't impressed with Bond's devil-may-care attitude. There are a lot of characters that come and go throughout the picture that 007 isn't even sure he can trust. Mathis, Felix, and even 007's love interest Vesper have questionable motives. Eva Green is an absolute bombshell though, so it's hard to question really anything she does. A Bond-shell, really. I'm sorry. The main villain here is a name that's very French and I can't pronounce correctly, Le Chiffre, and it's played by Mads Mikkelsen. The villain cries tears of blood and has the personality of a dead fish. He's a catch. Call me old-fashioned, but I prefer the zanier antics of GoldenEye. Takes the win here. Believe it or not, Martin Campbell directed both GoldenEye and Casino Royale. Those are the only two Bond films he has directed so far. GoldenEye introduces the new 007 to audiences by showcasing what he does best. Maybe second best, I'm not sure. He has infiltrated a Soviet chemical weapons facility with his partner Alec. Unfortunately, Alec is killed by the commanding officer Grigorovich just before Bond blows the plant to high hell and escapes by free-falling to a plane with guards in hot pursuit. By contrast, I placed fourth in a round of Fortnite the other night, then spent a dumb amount of time sitting in a chair in silence contemplating my life's decisions. So, we both had eventful days. Let's continue though. 9 years later, a Siberian base is destroyed by an EMP, knocking out all the satellites under its control. M tasks Bond with finding out who caused the attack, which leads our agent to the crime syndicate Janus, and their leader, the once presumed dead Alec Trevelyan. This movie has KGB agents, Russian mobsters, and a Soviet-era satellite armed with space-based tech code named GoldenEye. Bond commandeers a tank and trashes downtown St. Petersburg with it. Onatopp murders dudes in the greatest way possible. And Alan Cummings dies like the T-1000 almost did. The whole thing caps with a brawl on a giant satellite dish before abruptly ending a few minutes later. Casino Royale is longer, slower, and one of the most grounded Bond films to date. The first 20 minutes is wild stuff, and amongst the best the new franchise has to offer. We see how James earns his 00 status with a black and white montage of sorts, featuring a swift assassination and a dirty bathroom fight. This does a great job of showcasing both sides to the character. He's smooth and professional at times, but there's a brutal, sloppy side to him as well. Basically, French guy meets with a high-ranking member of Lord's Resistance Army and is given a large sum of money to invest in terrorism. Meanwhile, in Madagascar, Bond is doing his best to keep up with the youth of today by showcasing his parkour tricks. One dead bomb maker and a blown-up embassy later, Bond is now in the Bahamas to track down a lead. Alex Dimitrios is the target, and it's safe to say this guy had a pretty crappy night. Not only does James take his money and his car, but also beds the dude's wife. Again, just for the sake of contrast, one time I took down a large Pizza Hut pizza solo, plus a 2-liter of Coke while watching the Family Guy Stewie Griffin movie. So, I mean, who really has the more exciting life? After a night of unbridled passion, Bond saves a new plane from blowing up and enters a high-stakes Texas Hold'em competition called Casino Royale. I actually forgot the title for a second, so I was letting my brain catch up. Le Chiffre is playing to win back his client's money, and 007 is there to stop him. One poisoned drink and a quick trip to the car for a self-administered defibrillator shock later, and Bond is back in action. After winning the Casino Royale, he's treated to a tasteful game of rope and balls, while his lover is in the other room, presumably being tortured. There's a lot of plot going on here, and it's filled with misdirection, double crosses, and lessons learned, much like my pizza excursion. James finds out the hard way that you should trust no one in this game, something he could have learned much easier and quicker by watching one episode of The X-Files. Both films feature some exotic locations and crazy stunts. I myself am a sucker for skilled card playing and villains that cry tears of blood, so Casino Royale takes it. A few things spring to mind when most think about James Bond. Fast cars, gorgeous women, crazy gadgets, amazing stunt work, vodka martinis, shaken, not stirred, and a high probability of STDs. GoldenEye has it all. A stylish belt with a grappling hook and an exploding pen get the MI6 agent out of a couple jams. His Aston Martin features all the accoutrements you would come to expect, plus missiles. Anna Top is very good at what she does, and she really seems to enjoy her work, which is nice. You should always love what you do for a living. Casino Royale also features a sweet Aston Martin and lovely ladies, but is oddly free of gadgets. Scriptwriter Paul Higgis said they wanted to get away from the special effect heavy previous entries and tell a more believable story with practical effects. This meant moving away from the somewhat fantastical gadgetry of the past. Mission accomplished there, but I do think it took away from some of the charm Bond movies had. What I do think Casino Royale does really well is showcase a large world of both good and bad organizations that often cross paths. MI6 seems more powerful with multiple locations around the world. I think they had the right idea with the less schlocky tone, but at the same time it lost a bit of the identity. I'm leaning GoldenEye on this one, and by leaning, I mean giving it the win. It's kind of wild that Martin Campbell came back over a decade later to direct Casino Royale. These two movies feel incredibly different from one another. GoldenEye had a fresh Bond, but the film retained the same larger-than-life scale the series is known for. The music ranges from the iconic theme written by Monty Norman and arranged by John Barry to the soundtrack Eric Serra put together. Outside of the opening song GoldenEye, which was sung by Tina Turner and written by Bono, I'm just not really a fan of the music in this picture. It has a really corny vibe that doesn't really do the action sequences justice. David Arnold and Nicholas Dodd produced far better works for Casino Royale. The title song was created by Chris Cornell. Visually speaking, Campbell has come a long way since GoldenEye. Casino Royale is a stunning film that ups the ante when it comes to the action. The fighting is far more brutal and not near as cartoonish as past films. Many, including myself, will always hold a special place for GoldenEye, and that's due to the Nintendo 64 game. After rewatching the movie recently, the nostalgia overwhelmingly poured in as familiar locations cropped up, such as the library, the Soviet base, and the satellite station. Set that aside though, and I just can't ignore the craft that's on display in Casino Royale. I just have to give it the win. That's the only fair thing to do.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
What we have here is our classic 2-2 scenario. It's a stalemate, it's a tie. And the tie goes to the host, which is me, so I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with GoldenEye. Casino Royale is the better made film for sure, but I like the faster paced scene, the more over the top moments, and the sheer coolness that Brosnan exudes. But really the tie in actuality goes to you. So leave a comment with your winner and why, give the video a like if you had some fun, and I'll see you next week on another Reel Rivalries. You can trust me on that. My word is my bond. I had to. It was there. Thanks for watching the rivalry. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button and comment with your episode winner. If you're a fan of movie debates, feel free to subscribe to ScreenRant for more Reel Rivalries and much, much more.